The media initiates context around sexual orientation and plays a critical role in the way we distinguish sexuality. It helps our identities, our history, our social institutions, and our everyday lives. Sexuality attributes predominantly to a person's physical and sentimental allure to an individual of the same or opposite sex. Sexual orientation is interpersonal. LGBTQ plus means lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, queer, and more. This is a term used to inclusively reference this diverse set of sexuality and gender-based identities and communities. When we discuss sexual orientation, it's important to note that we're not talking about someone's sex, male, female, intersex, or gender, masculine, feminine, transgender, non-binary specifically. In many instances, however, sexual orientation, sex, and gender get consolidated and demoralized. The terms transgender and queer also complicate the picture because they do not refer to sexual orientation, but instead are used as an umbrella term. Transgender describes individuals whose gender identity does not match or refer loosely to all the non-heterosexual groups listed above. This term is also used to underscore the fact that gender and sexual orientation are fluid and should not be rigidly categorized. Echoing the sentiment about fluidity, the Q in LGBTQ further can indicate a questioning or uncertainty about one's gender, sexuality, or sexual orientation.
In 2015, the UK did a study for the sexual identity for the National Statistics, found that 1.7 was considered the lesbian, gay, or bisexual. There are other groups who didn't see how to identify themselves. In 2016, there are about 225 movies being released within the U.S., where GLAAD found that 23 movies contained characters who represented the LGBTQ community, where it had increased to 1% from the previous year. There was an increased representation with the LGBTQ influence, news, television, and movies in the 1990s, where the LGBTQs coming out in the mainstream television in her ABC sitcom called Ellen.
Europe in general is a very LGBT-friendly region. 76% of Britain is pro-LGBT, while 6% of Europe in general is LGBT. Even though it seems like a small number, that's a relatively huge amount of people who identify as LGBT in Europe. This could be the reason why Europe is considered the most LGBT-friendly region in the world, especially compared to America, where only 4.5% of the population identifies as LGBTQ. One could assume that the representation of LGBTQ in media in Europe has a more positive representation in media than America.
According to GLAAD research, most of the LGBTQ characters in American media are gay, white men, so even LGBTQ representation is not as diverse as it could be. One example of an LGBTQ character is Loki from the Marvel franchise. In the comics, based on Norse mythology, Loki is portrayed as gender fluid. In the movies, he is portrayed as a straight man. The comics are more accurate to the actual mythology, however, the movie portrayal is far more popular and far-reaching.
Homophobia is everywhere. We need to unite the struggle against homophobic oppression. With same-sex couplings, the public can have more of an accepting view of LGBT couples. The child who identifies as a member of the LGBT would finally see themselves in a character they love and feel okay that they like the same sex, are transgender, or don't like anyone because they're asexual. By telling children this is okay, we help create a new generation that is more accepting to the difference. AMA means the American Model Association, which supports every right, freedom, and privileges of all individuals and opposes discrimination.
Overall, America has stemmed from multiple resource outputs in support of various LGBTQs. These policies include the Modern Advancement Project, whose main focus is to provide equality through public work spheres within a governing society. Along with these various policies through social recognition, it is also significant to highlight specific events in light of LGBTQ events throughout our nation. These consist of Gay Pride Festival, World Pride Walk, and Euro Walk. Alongside these social events, it is also important to note social media aspects that coincide with these policies. These consist of the ever-famous Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Overall, these governing branches are what make the United States unique in defining LGBTQ awareness.
We used Marxian theory to analyze the differences between America and Europe. Marxist theories state that economic inequality drives social change. In Scandinavian Europe, democratic socialism is a more popular economic system. There is more of an influence from capitalism in the United States. Marxist theory also extends to religion. He stated that religion is a reflection of society and that religion encourages non-resistance and stunts social change. Religion currently has a lot of influence over politics in America, more so than in European countries.